The new Galil ACE Rock and Lock. That never gets old, it really doesn't. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about the Galil ACE, but before you tune out, this is a brand new product that literally just landed in the United States. Now I know that IWI has been releasing a number of different collectibles, if you will, of their original Gen 1 Galil ACEs in rifle and pistol formats. They've now moved on to the Gen 2. I have an original Galil ARM here. We're going to use this basically for reference to talk about this new Galil ACE pistol that just landed in the US. Copper just got a shipment in. I grabbed one and brought it out here to show it to you guys. But it's an 8.3-inch barreled 5.56 that uses standard Galil Rock and Lock magazines. But before we get started with today's video, guys, if you enjoy the content that we produce, please just take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. It helps us out tremendously here at the channel. Also, we look forward to those comments down below. We love responding to those. We typically stick around for the first day or so after we release a video and answer any questions you guys may have. With that being said, let's get started with today's video. I get asked all the time, Mac, how can I get involved in the firearms industry? Well, there's no easy answer, but one way you can easily get involved in the firearms industry is to become a certified gunsmith. Modern Gun School has been teaching gunsmiths since 1945. It is accredited college, and also if you're a veteran and have a GI Bill, you can use that to enroll at Modern Gun School. So please swing by and check them out. I have a link in the video description below. Most everybody watching this video right now is fully aware of the original Galil rifle. There are a few features about this rifle that were carried over to the Generation 1 ACE, or the rifle that would replace this in manufacturing by Israel. Now, the rifle that you see here was originally used by the IDF for a short period of time until the US started dumping M16s on the Israelis, and then the M16 kind of took over for a long time until they developed their own indigenous weapons like the X95 and the Tavor. But this gun has several features that were carried over into the ACE, which again is the replacement for the original Galil. Some of those similarities are a rear sight that's mounted to the top cover, very rigidly so it maintains zero. You have AK-style controls on the right-hand side of the receiver, but you also have fire controls over here on the left-hand side that you can use the firing thumb. You have a side-folding FAL type stock from the Parafoul, and then also they have a 35 round steel Rock and Lock magazine. Now, these rifles were not intended to lock open on the last shot fired, so that means you'll get a click, no bang, when the gun is empty. But several of these features that I just pointed out were carried over to the ACE series of firearms. We're already into Generation 2 of the ACE firearms, but the guns I'm going to show you now are Generation 1 guns, and I think you're going to find these interesting. So the first firearm I want to talk to you guys about is the new 8.3-inch 5.56 Gen 1 ACE pistol that has a Rock and Lock magazine. This is the magazines that come with the guns, and we know that there's some extra magazines being imported. I know that Copper has a number of these guns in stock right now, and I know that they have some of the new magazines to go along with it, but these magazines are 35 round Rock and Lock 5.56 magazines that are just like the original Galil mags. Again, the only difference is it locks open on the last shot fired. Put a new magazine in it, reach up here to this little button on the side of the receiver, push it down, chambers around from the freshly inserted magazine, and you can resume shooting. Now, this feature is not carried over with the original Galil magazine. So this is an original steel Galil magazine. It will cycle and function just fine, but you do not get that last round hold open capability. And that's because even though the magazines are identical, it would seem, the biggest difference is in the followers. So this follower has a little shelf back here that's designed to engage the bolt hold open device. So the black mags are the new generation Rock and Lockers, and these are the old school Rock and Lockers. The only thing you give up by using these in one of the new pistols is that last round hold open. Conversely, you can insert this magazine into this Galil and it'll work, it'll cycle, but it will not lock open. So it's basically the same magazine, it just has a slightly different follower to give you that last round bolt hold open functionality. Everything else on this gun is identical to every other ACE that we've ever talked about. Now, this thing is, with its 8.3-inch barrel, is quite abusive, especially if you shoot it like we do sometimes here in the shooting shack. but even outside, you're going to see a muzzle flash typically in broad daylight. But it does have the pick rail that runs the full length of the top of the receiver here. It's segmented. You have part of it on your gas tube, part of it on your top cover. It strips down. Everything about this gun is identical to the 545s and everything else that's been released lately. It's just chambered in 5.56 and features the new Rock and Lock magazines, which I think really make this thing cool. I wish that this gun would have been imported either with a 13-inch barrel or a 16-inch barrel, but I talked to IWI today, and they say there's currently no plans to offer these as a Gen 2 even with the Rock and Lock magazine. So there's roughly 500 of these in the country, and that may be all there ever is, but never say never. They may actually put the Rock and Locks into the Generation 2 guns at some point down the road if it proves popular enough. The gun comes with iron sights, which we zeroed this morning, has a sight tool in the box. It will hold 0. The top cover, again, locks in nice and tight. You do have that side folding brace capability. Everything else about it is Gen 1. The only thing that isn't Gen 1 on this gun that I've seen on another gun I'll show you here in a moment is it has a Gen 2 trigger in it, which is actually a good thing. It's slightly longer, has a better profile, and doesn't have the trigger slap that some of the earlier Galils had, the earlier Galil ACE rifles and pistols had. So that's the new Rock and Locker. It's really something that I've been looking forward to here. There we go. It's still getting used to locking an ACE because I'm so used to sticking an AR-15 magazine in it. I think the AR-15 magazines don't look right. This actually looked right. It's really, really sharp looking, and I think it's really cool that they brought at least 500 of these in. If you guys want more of them to be imported, I would reach out to IWI and say, hey, we would love to see the Rock and Locks in the Gen 2. Now, there's another gun out here I want to show you this afternoon that came in about a month ago. Most of them have been sold already, but it's still an interesting Gen 1 gun that, like this gun, is a limited production item that they made as they transitioned into the Gen 2 firearms, but I think you're going to like this one too. This one's pretty special. So the next firearm I want to show you guys, now this gun's been in the country for a couple of months. They're mostly sold out from dealers, but you can still find them online, occasionally either new or used. But this is a 5.45 by 39 pistol that has a 13-inch barrel. So all the other features on this gun are identical to previous Generation 1 Galil ACEs, including the 8.3-inch barreled 5.56 gun I just showed you a moment ago. The biggest difference being is it has that 13-inch barrel, a full-length gas piston versus the truncated one of the 8.3-inch barreled guns. And so it has that longer barrel with an 8.3-inch barreled firearm shooting a rifle caliber. Many suppressor manufacturers will tell you not to use their cans on barrels shorter than 10 inches in length, so an 8.3-inch barrel may cause a problem with some suppressors. You definitely will wear the can out more quickly if you're using it on such a short barrel, but that's negated with a 13-inch barrel. That blast baffle, that first one's not going to take as much abuse with this longer barrel. But you also have the benefits of a longer, heavier bolt carrier in it, which changes the recoil impulse, in my opinion, for the better. And it's just a nice shooting gun. It does have a longer sight radius. It has the standard rifle sight radius if it would have a 16-inch barrel, because again, that gas tube is the same length. All the other features are the same. On top of this one, I have one of the new Primary Arms SLX setups. This is a 1 power. They make it in 1 power and in 3 power. And these will be released here soon. We've been testing them on different types of firearms, and so far it's a pretty interesting little setup, but coming soon. I'll talk more about it in the future. But just like its predecessors, it has that side folding brace on it and has all the same fire controls. It uses standard Russian magazines, or you can use PMags like I have here, and that's what the gun will actually ship with, but it will function with regular old Soviet era AK-74 magazines. Now you'll notice it does not have the cutout here or the button for the last round bolt hole open, because it does not have that functionality like the Rock and Lock 5.56 8.3-inch barreled gun. However, I think this is probably the ultimate in size. I would love to form one of these and turn it into a rifle, put a suppressor on it. I wish that the Rock and Lock pistols that came in were in this barrel length versus the 8.3-inch, but that doesn't turn me away from the 8.3-inch, because that Rock and Lock 5.56 original Galil magazine is pretty darn cool. It's pretty neat being able to use magazines from the original gun and the new one, and vice versa. And again, I'm a big fan of the Rock and Locks and guns like this. I've just never liked the looks of the guns with the Stanag magazine sticking out of it. It just doesn't look right. So this, I think, not only looks sharp, but it shoots very well. The 5.45 by 39 is still a very popular caliber, very easy to come by, and very affordable even in rough times. Typically, it's maybe 1 cent per round under normal conditions, 1 cent per round more expensive than 7.62 by 39, which still makes it more affordable to shoot than even 5.56 or 2.23 in many cases. So the new pistols with the Rock and Lock magazines are going to be priced the same as all the other ACEs that have been imported recently, and that price is $17.99. The magazines are going to be $19.99 or 20 bucks for the new magazines with a hold open capability for these particular firearms. And if you're a Patreon, you're watching this right now, you're watching this as a preview before the rest of the world sees the video, feel free to go ahead and call Copper and place an order for one if you would like to have one. Overall, these are the best AKs on the market. That opinion has never changed since the first Galil came out. I still think it's the best AK type firearm you can buy. They're not inexpensive, but they are high quality and definitely are heirloom type firearms, meaning they can go for generations and generations and handing them down. They're going to hold up quite well. Machined receivers, all that good stuff. So if you guys are interested in more information, you can swing by the Copper website. There will be a listing there. And guys, if you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms channel, you can do that by becoming part of our Patreon family. There's a link in the video description below. You'll get early access to videos like this one. You'll have direct access to me. I answer all private communications, and we've built a really fun community over there. Again, there's a link in the video description below to Patreon. Right here on YouTube, you can join the channel by clicking the join button underneath the video player you're watching right now, and support us right here on YouTube. And last but not least, guys, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Thank you for 13 years of support, and we'll talk to you guys soon.